Here, I'm posting it. No, they weren't. I just shared the link. Let's do it.
Okay.
Stefan, we know people can hear us, buddy. We're live.
What?
No, Stefan just said we heard he could hear me. I said, I know.
It's annoying. Every time.
What's up?
Nothing good, Tommy. Nothing good.
Everything good.
No, because, I had so many technical issues. I'm trying to use a new computer to try to run the stream. That didn't work. My screen was literally dead for like an hour. Then, what else did I try to do? Let's see.
Made a silent film.
I made a silent film, which was not intentional. So everything's going great today, Tommy. Everything's great. Things are crashing on my computer right now. I don't know if it's going to take down the stream or not. Probably will. You know how it is, guys. We don't plan to make these things. They just happen. And in the most horrible way for us every single time. But, the good thing is we're here every week to allow you to witness this horrible stuff happening to us. So you could join with us as this horrible stuff happens. So, join in every single week. And you could watch us just get into...
Just flail.
Just fail. Just completely, just nothing happens correctly. I'm like clicking stuff and it's not working. This is just life, Tommy. I think there's a life lesson here, Tommy. That sometimes, life is not all cotton candy and games. Sometimes life is about kicking you on the ground and just want to keep you there.
I don't know, Frank. I think that's a pretty dark start to the show. This is our lighthearted show about Hookah.
Yeah, and what else we did do today, Tommy? We didn't even introduce who we are, what we're doing here, and what this show is. So no one even knows. They're just tuning in out of nowhere who we even are.
Do we even know?
What do you mean? You're asking me if I know who you are?
Do we know who we are?
I know who I am.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good then. We got that going for us.
Tommy.
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm Tommy Ippolite.
Introduce the show.
I am Tommy Ippolite, here with Frank Cephalou. He's got marinara all over his motherboard, but we're here. We're ready to rock and roll. State of the smoke. It is the 19th of December. We got Spyre Hookahs. Spyre Hookah? Spyre Hookah.
It is
Spyre Hookah.
It is Spyre Hookah.
Today. Mm-hmm. Frank had a great conversation with him, which you guys will get to hear 50%.
Tommy, the funny thing is, I was supposed to be the techie one, and
You went great. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. Your interview went well, and you didn't have as many technical issues, and mine goes, and I'm thinking we're doing great. You know, David Harris from Spyre Hookah, which you guys will meet in a minute, is a great guy. He's very laid back. He's very wholesome. He's very true to himself. You can just tell he just wants to do good in the community and in the industry, and he's trying and to get into it and try to do something different. He does 3D printing of hookahs and mouthpieces, which no one really does right now that I can think of. And just the mechanism that Tommy just blows my mind because, technically you could do any sort of organic shape you want, right? With a hookah den, because now you're no longer confined to normal shapes. Right. From traditional materials, you could do anything that's organic shaped. Anyways, getting off topic, my interview went to crap because I thought everything was fine. Turns out, after the whole stream was over, I was on mute the entire time. Oh, it was a great conversation, but it just looks like David's talking to himself. And maybe he does sometimes. I don't know.
We all do. We all do at times. It's okay. We're not here to judge the guy about it.
But what this video becomes is what it looks like is David talking to me. And I'm just like...
Just smiling and nodding. I'm so excited to watch it.
I don't think you are.
I am.
I can't
wait. I wish that we realized earlier that we had this issue so that I could have dubbed the Frank voice.
Well, I think we have a did you know interruption.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah. So, did you know? It's coming.
Let's see it.
It's coming. Why is it not playing? We have a did you know interruption now.
You guys, we pre-recorded all this. We're getting to work.
Why is the video off? What is?
No THL.
Why is he over there?
It wasn't discovered until 1910 in Switzerland. So the question is, what were they using on top of their hookah bowls?
Thank you. Yeah. Now, not only was that video like completely off center, but thank you, Ross.
Thank you, Ross.
For that did you know interruption.
It's important.
Did you want to talk about anything? Should we just get straight into the interview with David? Watch that and
Just hope it works.
watch David talk at us.
Let's listen to David. Back to you, David.
I am this partnering for we run Spyre Hookahs. We predominantly focus on 3D printed aspects and different designs. Right now we have 3D printed mouth tips. We have 3D printed sleeves for the mat pair that they are out. We're still learning certain courses and actions and stuff like that. And we're also about to, I'm actually probably tonight dropping the handles. After preliminary testing, everything seems good on those. So what we try to do is we try to change not necessarily the form of hookah, you can't really do that, but rather add a new medium to what hookah is. Thermoplastics in general really haven't been approached outside of the Russian market with things like Delrin, and 3D printing gives the opportunity to have unique characteristics and forms. Definitely something that we like to, we're nerds, so we kind of mess around in design all the time. So I started smoking at 19, and actually Kurt was the reason I started smoking.
Stop it, Tommy.
And for the first 2-3 years, I was fine where I was at. I started, traveling down the rabbit hole with what was locally available. I didn't really pick up on any of the premium brands. We ended up being friends with Vasilios, from the owner of HQ, and we, got close with him. We had a lot of things going like that. But one of the things when Kurt and I lived together, we always wanted to create our own pipe. And we at that time actually had, there was a local lounge for sale. We had a ton of different like ideas forming, and we actually designed on paper our first pipe. And that was actually a modular design pipe, and that's something that at the time in the American market was, for the most part, outside of B2, unheard of. Um, and you know, we're college kids at the time. We both have steady jobs, but not anything really that we could be like, hey, let's go make a one-off $2,000 metal machined pipe. Like, couldn't do it. So you know, a couple years go by, the first expo happens, and that's when I really meet a lot of people in the industry. I met, you know, Ron and Nee from Phoenix and Vapor Hookah Lounge, Alex and Mary I got a little closer with. I met a lot of people that, you know, opened up my mind to feel like it wasn't just it wasn't just a, you know, an industry. There was a community behind it, and you know, there was camaraderie behind it. So after that, we spent about probably the next 6 months after the expo, really nailing down designs, and we were like, we got to the same point we were before. It's like, all right, what's stopping us from making this? And it was like, oh, again, this is gonna cost $2,000. So we had a opportunity, because Kurt was an architecture student. He got the opportunity he's like, well, we could just test it with 3D printing and see how it goes. And we looked at it and we were just like, okay, so you're telling me we can make our own form factor, we can print it, we can make sure, you know, everything about it's designed how we want, and then we can print it and test it, and we don't have to keep doing the same overall cost expense. And I fell in love with it immediately, because, you know, one of the biggest things I've always loved to do is CAD. And computer automated drafting is something where I'll have an idea at 2 in the morning and I won't sleep until I have it completely designed. And it's just like, it's my one nerdy habit that will not go away. And that's kind of where things fell into place. Stuff like the mouth tips, I couldn't print a pipe, which, I mean, I do print pipes, but they're not available yet. But I couldn't necessarily, I didn't have the time at that moment to print a pipe, so I let someone who was visiting, a friend of mine who was visiting, I was like, all right, cool, I have time to make, what can I make? I was like, oh, a mouth tip. So I spent like the next 5 hours working on a mouth tip, and he was like, why aren't you making these? Just do it. Just do it. Stop thinking and do it. And that's where the mouth tips started. A lot of the stuff that we're doing has always been encouraged by different people throughout the community, where they see something we're doing and they're just like, okay, you're doing that, well, what about that? You're doing this, what about that? Like, what allows the rabbit hole to, you know, dig deeper? And we appreciate it. You know, a lot of the stuff is, I tell people, if they are interested in something and they want to try it, I'm like, cool. But the aspects are, if you're getting a prototype or if you're getting something yourself and you're not happy with it, let us know immediately. Tell me what's wrong with the tolerances. Is it too tall, too small, anything like that? And we'll take the time to, you know, reassert the situation and look at it. So I am lucky enough that sanding doesn't really have to happen. For the handles, we're going to start resin coating them when we started doing that. We're going to work on that a little bit more. Just because the oils that exist on the handle, or if you're a car guy, one of the prototypes was the guy works on cars quite a lot, so the natural existing chemicals that you wouldn't find in someone who doesn't work on cars were having not negative effects per se, but it was definitely affecting the finish. So, you know, rectify it, make it better, and move on. The hardest part with the mouth tips is finding a different design, because how many mouth tips can look like mouth tips, you know, like... So we tried a beta run, and I've actually been smoking my own pipes for the better part of the last 2 years. I did the beta release with select people, got my feedback, and I was like, all right, cool, you know, manufacturing, what can we do? All those logistics are always in the works, trying to figure out the next step. But it got to a point where I woke up one day and I said that everything we worked for, I thought it was ugly. And I was like, back on the beginning of the drawing board. So in the last 3 months, I've spent time working on prototypes, new designs, everything like that from the ground up, with the things that I've learned over the last 3 years and applying them. And 2020 is the hopeful year that we're gonna see about doing an initial launch for an actually manufactured pipe. In a sense, yes, there are limitations that we actually restrict ourselves to. 3D printing is not perfect yet. I very much am in multiple 3D printing groups. I pay attention to a lot of that stuff, and in the next 10 years, it'll get to a point where I think 3D printers will be like microwaves. Everyone will have one in the house. If you don't have one in the house, you're gonna have someone that's your neighbor, and your neighbor's gonna be like, "Hey, you broke the hinge on your door. Can I print you a new one?" Right? And the mediums will get better. And that's the really cool side about it. You have plastics now that are like PEAK, which is a super high heat, 400 degrees Celsius is the average printing temperature to that, and it is a engineering plastic, and commercial printers for like hobbyists can't afford it. They can afford the filament, but they can't afford the machine or the upgrades required to it, or there's dangerous aspects to it if you try and do it yourself. Or 5-axis printing, which is now just coming into play, which will completely change the structural form of printing and make it actually very similar to plastic molds. You won't even know the difference, which, if I'm still in business and everything's still going fine, I'm going to jump on board immediately with all of that. We also avoid resin printing. Resin printing uses a UV resin. It's not safe for human consumption. You can't even have that stuff on your hands. I'd love to use it because the resolutions are better, but that stuff has a monomer chain in it that will actually poison you and disconnect parts of your brain. So we very much stay away from that.
Oh my god.
So we have the Instagram and the Facebook page, both are Spyre Hookah. We're predominantly using Etsy right now. If you're like the page or anything like that and you have a question, I normally try to respond within the day. A lot of times people who don't know about the Etsy will go through there. But for the most part, I mean, Etsy's good for what it is when you're starting out. So we're sticking with that until we can root our grounds into website design that we actually appreciate. Batch releases, we've done them in the past, and the thing is, they're kind of iffy. I'm very much open to right now, with the handles, for example, we have 2 different designs, the Harlequin and the Hive, and both are going to be, if you want it, you're interested in it, you can order it directly from the website. We'll print it to order, get everything fit and put together as it needs to be, and everything, for the most part, we have our shipping a couple days out, but unless there's a large amount of orders, we normally can get things out within a week of time, and that's making sure the product is to our spec. We're not going to send something that looks like it's called over extruded and there's globs and stuff on it, and if we do and we don't see it, tell us immediately and we'll replace it. We're very much active about doing that. So no, thank you for the time, I appreciate it, and I just don't be afraid to reach out to me, guys. If you have something crazy, hit me with it. I'll see what I can do. Hey guys.
So, Tommy, my webcam disconnected.
Frank!
Tommy, my webcam disconnected. The wire fell out. This is ridiculous. I don't even know why we continue doing this show. It's just a mess. I don't know why people watch us.
The more that we prepare, the worse it seems to go.
Yeah. Let me get the wire. Okay.
One of our best interviews yet, in my opinion. There was no interruption or
Here, will you use my phone?
any issue where you weren't able to hear David, which is nice. Very nice. Frank will be back real soon, guys. I think. This is the Eric Andre of Hookah shows. It is. It is the Eric Andre of Hookah shows. Absolutely.
Is it back yet?
No.
Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Oh my goodness, Tommy. Alright, so that was David Harris. Awesome guy, Spyre Hookah. Find him on Etsy.com. And that's it. You can find him there. He makes great stuff. I use it.
Great job, Frank.
I know, Tommy. You know, I felt like, you know, it was more of an artistic decision to let him talk. And not me talk.
Your job as a journalist is not to be part of the story, but to report the story.
Yeah, I'm not there to be in front of him. I'm not here to detract from him. All I'm here is to report on him and be there and approve.
It was nice, but your face was still there, smiling and nodding, which was my favorite part of the interview.
Yeah. Oh, anything new? What are you smoking, by the way? You've been having problems. Let's get into some problems you've been having with TNG's Cherry Lime, because I've had the problems with them too. And I think you made some really valid points that I just wanted to bring up here. People might not know what Tangiers is. Once you briefly touch upon what it is really quick before you jump into the problem.
So Tangiers is a tobacco brand that's been around for a while. People who like to smoke higher nicotine tobacco like Tangiers. It's higher nicotine. It is dark in color, and they have a lot of flavors, and they're always coming out with new flavors. And some new flavors just recently dropped, and that's what we're discussing.
Yeah, and I have had problems with some of the batches. Wintergreen is probably my favorite flavor, and a lot of people don't like it because it tastes like root beer to them. But root beer is one of my favorite flavors. But what are you experiencing? Because what the hell do I know? I don't smoke dark leaves. Nobody listens to me, and I've been having problems with everything. I've been having bowls breaking, right? That are like made of paper mache. I have shit. This not working. My Dahlia like sometimes tastes like off, but you know
your computer's covered in sauce. My
computer, the webcam wire for some reason disconnects out of a USB port. How does that happen, Tommy? How does that even happen? It's just like, I am done tonight, Frank. I am done with you.
If only they knew. But so the issues that have been being experienced with some of the new flavors. Number one is that people are reporting the flavors don't taste like the flavors that they're supposed to be. I haven't experienced that yet. Of the new flavors, all that I've been smoking is the cherry limeade. We smoked it at HEW, and both really, really liked it.
We did.
Both really liked it. So I was excited to get this flavor, and I have been pretty disappointed by it. It is only working with very, very low heat, which isn't really how I like to smoke. Everyone who smokes with me or has smoked with me talks about how hot I like to smoke. I like to smoke really hot, and you just cannot smoke that flavor hot at all. It has to be very, very low, and I haven't been able to get it to smoke for much more, like to be flavorful for longer than like 40 minutes before it completely loses all flavor.
You know, and something to be said, because, you know, we all argue about how to pack this thing. But you made a very valid point. All of us are not doing the pack as the manufacturer tells us to do it. We're all smoking vastly different. So, you know, Eric, I mean, like, if you look at his packs, they're massive. Now, I'm not saying that's not the best way to smoke it. But don't you think you'll have a harder time discerning if something's missing or going wrong with that much shisha beneath it? Because all the you're gonna get flavor if you're packing that much, right? I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's one of those things, you know, with the way that Eric packs, he packs big bowls, deep bowls, and smokes for hours and hours. But another thing to be aware of with that is that he is not smoking the way that we smoke. He's not smoking for large cloud production at all. You know, it's KM hookahs, and it's a more restricted pipe. They smoke restricted pipes, and he uses the Japanese coals, which are extremely low heat.
Hmm.
So the way that any of us smoke with, like Eric has straight up said numerous times that he hates coconut coals. He thinks that they're way too hot for Tangiers. Not he hates a certain brand or he doesn't like Cocoa Earth because they're too high heat. He thinks that all coconut coals are too high heat for Tangiers. He recommends that you use the Japanese quick light coals. And none of us do that. And it's funny to me. Like I said, I said it in my video when I talked about the issues that I've been having with Tangiers. Having issues with Tangiers isn't new. Them coming out with new flavors and some of them not tasting right and some of them not being the flavor that you're expecting, that's not new. Every time they come out with new flavors, people report this. Like none of this is new, and it's been that way forever. And then even just flavors that you like when this started getting talked about, you had people in the groups coming on and saying, I stopped buying Tangiers because I had this certain flavor that I really liked, and then I bought it twice, and it was completely different. I don't like it anymore. I don't buy it. And, it's funny to me to see the amount of people in the groups that want to come to Tangiers' defense because they like that brand and because they like to smoke Tangiers and act like these issues are being made up. Or the person who's saying it just doesn't know how to pack or doesn't know how to manage their heat, doesn't know what they're talking about. They have to be wrong. Because, back in the Hookah Pro days in 2008, 2009, I remember people talking about these same issues that we're discussing right now with Tangiers. Like, consistency has been an issue from the beginning with Tangiers. I feel like at times they possibly rush to get new flavors out. Like when new stuff is coming out, like stuff comes out maybe before it's ready or whatever the case may be. But this is like, the problems that people are having are known issues with Tangiers. And like I said in my live, like it's one of the things that I like about Tangiers. Every time you buy some Tangiers, for the most part, you got to have a couple test bowls first to see how this particular batch is going to perform.
Interesting. That's a good point. Let's see some comments. Let's answer some comments. Tommy, what's in your bowl right now?
I am smoking some Trifecta Dark Deja Du. One of my favorites.
Yeah, that used to be Dom's favorite flavor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this flavor.
Lucas says, I don't agree that you need to overpack a bowl to overcompensate for flavor. Sure, it's fine to do it just for fun, but it should not be necessary.
Yeah, I don't think that we're saying that it's necessary, but the point the point that we're trying to make is that the way that all of us, for the most part, pack and then more so than pack, but smoke Tangiers.
Well, let me ask you this,
really
Tom.
Different from the way the manufacturer does it.
Let me ask you this: do you consider what Eric is doing? Would you consider that overpacking?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, they use giant bowls.
I see.
So a lot of tobacco gets used.
How much is in there usually? Is this ridiculous amount? I think.
It's like the big stone bowls. Like it's like that kind of capacity.
By the way, guys, if you could please hit a like, and subscribe if you could, we would appreciate it. We don't really ask for that, but I don't know why we have the people we do. I don't know where you guys come from, but if you could please leave a like, just hit there. Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but there's a new like. Can we get 15? Please. It's like, if you're all here and it's like lounging for some reason, can you please hit a button?
Please.
Just like do something.
Let us know you're definitely here.
Yeah, like, don't just sit there. I'll look to do it. 15, 16. Come on. Can you hit the button again? It's like if all you hit it like at once, I'll be really happy.
See if we can crash my computer a third time today.
Don't do that. Yeah. Large capacity. He said his comment was regarding Eric's large bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, you know.
Yeah, they're like 50+ gram bowls.
I mean, Eric one doesn't even agree with how we are currently acclimating tobacco. You know, he told me 5 minutes. Technically, do you even need to acclimate it if it's 5 minutes? Because the point, by the time you take the tobacco out, put it in your bowl.
5 minutes.
That's 5 minutes, right?
Right.
So do you really need to acclimate? And he doesn't approve like people smoking high heat. He uses very low heat. He uses, you know, the Japanese coals. They're very low heat. You know, he would probably like a Prestige on his bowl. Probably because they're low.
Yeah, that's really the only way that I've been able to get the cherry limeade to be pleasant, and the flavor is nice. I mean, you know, for that 45 minutes, it's a nice smoke, but I cannot get it to go more than one round.
Lucas, it doesn't properly. I also agree. Lucas says he doesn't understand how low heat. By the way, people, if you don't know who Lucas is, Derek's in the chat too. Lucas is the owner of Hazy Bowls. Thank you for joining the stream. Check him out at hazybowls.com. Derek Moses on the stream. MosesHoses.com. This is like an artesian gathering in the chat here. Welcome, all creators. We are humbled by your servitude and homage to our channel. I agree. I don't think Civil Taps. This is my problem with having too much tobacco. It's my problem with the original Harmony Bowl because it took like 25 grams of tobacco to fill that thing, and you never finished. And the thing is, and this is where you and I differ because I have the whole like one bowl mentality, right?
Right.
Is that I believe like once you smoke a bowl of tobacco, you don't have the same flavor, that pure flavor, as you do the first bowl.
You mean round of coals?
Yeah, because I believe like there's a burnt layer of shisha on top, and now when you come in with your second layer of coals, there's no way in hell you're not going to taste that first layer of shisha. Now, what Eric is doing is, I don't know if he's actually smoking that way because he thinks it's the right way, or if he smokes that way because he doesn't want to change his bowl. And now his method of packing is around him going, I really don't want to go pack another bowl. I want to smoke for 4 or 5 hours.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the thing that people need to remember about this, and that's the thing that Eric says a lot, is that, you know, his goal is for it to be flavorful and for him to taste it and to be able to taste tobacco notes and all of that for 5 or 6 hours. So who among us is looking to smoke for 5 or 6 hours from one bowl pack? Not me.
Yeah, I agree. Did you get Leviathan, by the way?
I did not. It was all out at Junk Cube. I didn't get a chance to get it.
Yeah, I mean, like, mine's is not strong on the lavender. I wish it was. I could tell. I was so disappointed in that flavor because mine's is light on the lavender. So I was imagining trifecta lavender mint.
Which is great.
Until they increased the mint on it, then it became like FU mint with some lavender. So here, you thought this was a flower field? You dumb asshole. You know, I thought it was going to be like that. Something nice, light, something I could just smoke and relax. And it is that still. I still get that, but it's not full. It's not rounded. Like, you can tell, like, it's lacking.
Yeah.
Like the substance of a Tangier's bowl. By the way, since I just want to not go completely off topic, but just segue a little bit to our event that's happening in May next year. We are doing it on, this is for the New York Gala, we are doing it on May 9th. And I'm excited. You're excited.
I'm very excited. Get ready. Call in sick from work now, guys. It's going to be a fucking party.
Yeah. So then the biggest thing that we're going to be having at this event, and since we have all the small vendors here, we'll just talk about it. What we're offering. Gave me money, small vendors. No, but like what we have at this event is not only do we have two massive, wonderful sponsors for the venue. That's all done, right? We're given the paperwork now.
Yeah.
But we have a space for indies. If you want a table, and you set up everything you want, showcase, sell, whatever you want. We're giving spaces to indies that are small.
Community members.
Yeah, that way they could have their spot and have a showcase, and it's drastically less than what everyone else is paying.
Yes.
Not only that, for everyone else that doesn't know what New York Gala is, New York Gala. Do you want to talk a little about New York Gala is, or should I talk about it?
Absolutely, I would love to. So, New York Gala is our flagship event, and it's basically a high-end hookah party where we get sponsors to come in. You get to try some flavors, try some stuff that you may not have gotten to try. This year we're going to definitely have some other special stuff that you definitely wouldn't get to try if you didn't come to the gala. But the whole idea of it's not so much a trade show as it is a party, and that's really what we're looking to do, is to throw an amazing party every year that circles around hookah and has a high-end feel. It's the feel of a cigar lounge or a cocktail hour, as opposed to a big warehouse full of hookahs or a meetup in your parents' basement.
Yeah,
you gotta wear a collared shirt.
yeah,
People get real mad.
yeah. I mean, there's going to be a dress code, just
Yep.
because the venues that we're choosing are clubs in the city, and there's no club in the city that's going to let you wear sneakers. So there is a dress code again this year.
Yes.
But if you're indie, I think we're going to do like 2 spots only for this year for the indies. So there's only going to be 2 indie tables. So if you are interested, contact me. I'll give you the form.
Immediately.
Yeah, because the sponsors are done already.
Yeah.
And there were sponsors that are definitely not happy, or going to be not happy when they find out they can't get in.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. You know what it is, Tommy? People saw what we did last year. They saw what we did as Smoked. Okay?
Mhm.
We took, there's nothing like a New York Gala event or a Smoked event, because we take care of the vendors and we showcase their products in a way that doesn't really happen in many venues, and we really highlight it. I mean, if we didn't go Smoked, let me explain what Smoked was. Smoked was an event that we held in Las Vegas. Eternal was the vendor at the time. We had an ice sculpture. They had dedicated tables. They had placards of all the flavors on the hookahs. Probably about 30 hookahs, right?
Yeah.
And we had a open bar, and the bar had full cocktails, so it had liquor too. And we had cocktails that were crafted per hookah. So you would go to the bar and you get a drink that would match one of the hookahs, and you could drink your drink and see how it tastes with the hookah. It was like it's a unique experience. I'm just showing like just one way how these events are. We go a little bit further with the vendors, just because we're trying to create something different that is in between what you would see at a meetup and a tasting and a expo. We're trying to fill this middle space that we think that there is a market. So if you're a small vendor, come. If you're a big vendor, you can still come, but you can't be part of it. And tickets will be available soon, and we have stuff that we're getting, right, Tommy, that we're going to be giving away per ticket.
Very,
sale.
very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, right?
Yes. Not available in the States. We're
Not
gonna have
available.
some cool stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be cool stuff. So it's 1 per order. I think we have 40. Do you remember how many we had? Do you remember how many he said we have?
I
It
don't.
was like 40.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah. So this would be
30 or
like
40.
30 or 40 of these items, and it's one per order to while quantity lasts. So only the first 40 get it. It's going to be the community. We're going to offer the tickets there first. Um, but I think we're capping out 300 this year for the event. So it's exciting.
So get your tickets, guys. It's they're not on sale yet. Once we have everything all shored up and finished up, we'll be putting them up for sale soon, hopefully. But get the tickets. We sold out quick last year. And for those of you who came last year, and those of you who make it this year, and then next year when we start talking about it, every year it's going to be different. Every year we want for it to be exponentially better. We'd love for it to keep growing every year, but even if that's not the case, we definitely are just going to continue to fine tune what we're doing. So if you came to the gala last year and you had a good time, expect a better time, because last year was really for us like a, proof of concept that we could throw the kind of party that we thought that the people would want to come to, and that it would be beneficial to the brands involved and all that kind of stuff, and we proved that with the event. So now the real fun begins.
Yeah, I think the biggest stark contrast difference between the last event and this one for people that went was that THL staff and members of the community were actively involved in helping getting the hookah set up and managing the coals. That is not happening this time.
Correct.
It's going to be more like the expo where the vendors manage their own coals. They bring their own hookahs. They get a spot at the venue and they have to manage it. That's the huge
And
difference.
last year's venue was crazy. Anyone who was there, if anyone who saw what it looked like, anyone who saw the pictures, saw video from it, last year's venue was crazy. This year, 10 times better.
Yeah.
If not more. It's absolutely gonna be a wild night, guys. The places, we have a few places like kind of scoped out, and everything. I mean, if this all comes together, you guys are really in for a treat this year.
Yeah, because the places we're looking at are amazing. So
Unbelievable.
I mean, I think no matter which place, like I post some pictures of one of the spots. So the biggest thing is for this time we need event insurance and all that stuff, just because of the amount of people we're having. We're starting to get into those numbers. Once we start getting to like the number, like 1,000 people in next year or the year after, then we have to start informing local police. But that's where we're going, guys. We're going from every year we're learning, and we learned from last year, right? Thank God last year we didn't try to do 300 people because it would have been a mess.
I would have died.
Yeah, we did 100. We were dying, but we got through it. This year we're doubling it, and I think we're going to do better this year because we learned from last year. And this is going to be,
Absolutely. We learned from last year. We learned from Smoke. And, like I said, I mean, this is our flagship event. So this is the one that we really, hang our hats on, so to speak. And, anyone who has the opportunity to make it once tickets go up for sale, definitely recommend going. It's going to be really, really, really cool. And I'm excited about the direction that things are heading.
Yeah. Yeah. And, ever since Shisha Messe, I know we're almost out of time here, but ever since Shisha Messe decided it's not coming to the East Coast anymore, we're just missing something on this side of the coast. And while we can all say we want to keep going to HEW, it's hard to always make it to Vegas in the middle of summer as a yearly thing. So having something more local, I don't foresee, I think this is going to start happening more often. You're going to see more local events happening that are larger. Just look at PAX. PAX happens in every single corner of the country because they grew. They started one spot. They started in Boston. They grew. Now they're in 5 different major cities throughout the year. So I think it's going to happen to Hookah eventually. That's a good thing.
Absolutely. And our niche, and what the space that we're looking to fill is, like we said, high end.
It's very high end.
It's not going to be just like a tasting at your local lounge. It's not going to be like a meetup. It's not going to be like any other real party that you've been to. it's a party that's going to revolve around hookah, but there's going to be drinking, there's going to be food, and the locations that we're looking at are, I mean, unbelievable. So some of the coolest places that you've been in.
Yeah, the food is going to be there this year, so that's important. Last year there wasn't food, so we're going to have hors d'oeuvres and catered food at this event.
It's going to be good.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, me and Frank have been talking a lot last couple of weeks going, you know, with the planning end of it and stuff. And it's, I mean, I am so excited that, number one, that we're not going to be like really working it, so we'll really get to enjoy it this year. And you know, I'm excited for everybody who's going to have an opportunity to go, because it's really going to be a great time. Are you under attack? What's going on?
Hold on a second. I'll be up in a second. Can you just wait? Okay.
Should I sign us out? What am I doing?
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, guys. Thank you for joining Tommy and I on State of the Smoke. We will see you next week. Thank you, David Harris, our guest from Spyre Hookah, for joining us. Look out for New York Gala tickets and more information on the website. Thank you all for joining us. Tommy, anything else you want to say?
Don't be a loser.
They do not be a loser, guys. Talk to
Take
you
it
later.
easy, guys.